this game ends up going the distance here, simply because... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 here in this PVZ. We have spawning on the bottom position of Polar Knight, our red Protoss player representing Team myi.stardust. It is Stardust. He's going to be playing against his green Zerg opponent in the north position on Polar Knight, representing Team Dignitas. He is none other than TEFL. And for those of you who didn't watch the first game or just tuned in, please note that the giant purple patches are graphics that are currently missing from the pack that was released from the Asus Republic of Gamers tournament. So don't worry about them. The players cannot see them. So it didn't actually distract any of them from their games. Don't worry about it. Stardust currently 1-0 up in this best of 3. And, of course, going on to the winners match and making it out of the group, very, very useful in group stage 1, not having to play an extra StarCraft game, able to kind of chill out a little bit and get some rest before the second group stage. Highly desirable. Just because you still have a chance if you lose the series doesn't mean it's okay to lose it. There are clear benefits from going into the winners match. So Stardust looking to try and close this out 2-0. TEFL, on the other hand, is going to fight back hard just to make sure he has a say in turning it into a 1-all. And once again, we got the pool first coming out from TEFL, and the pylon on the low ground coming out from Stardust. So he's going to be putting down that Nexus pretty soon indeed. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. And the game is going to be starting relatively similar fashion to what we saw in the previous game. Wow, this is a massive purple blob right there. Watch out, guys. That's a time warp if I've ever seen one. And there goes the Forge in the natural expansion from Stardust. Able to get down, of course, that Nexus first. And this Overlord won't quite be able to spot. I suspect he'll turn through it very momentarily. You will see the Nexus, spot that there's actually no gateway or anything up here, and then just quickly hop over to the left to confirm the timing on that Nexus. Now, are we going to see a super fast third coming out of TEFL as soon as he spots that? We'll be keeping an eye on the movements of the Overlord and a potential drone going to the third base location now. And there we go. We'll be able to see that the Photon Cannon is in production now, and we'll spot that the Nexus is almost complete, or will he? Not quite yet, but he probably gets an idea from the timing, to be honest. So he just wants to get the heck out of dodge before a potential unit comes to snipe him. Of course, there will be no Stalker, though. We've got, I think he just wants to get to the high ground or a position where he knows he can come back and loop around if he needs to. So things looking pretty chilled out so far. We've got some drones being transferred down to the natural expansion now for dignitas.tefel. And both players content to a macro. Are we going to see a third come down from our Dignitas player? It doesn't look like it at this stage. So it's going to be 2v2. Keep an eye on the timing for that still. It's only 4 minutes 47, so it is early days yet. Yep, there we go. So it's not like he blindly did it before doing anything else. Wanted to make sure that he did grab those queens up, of course. Make sure he started saturating those mineral patches and then think about the additional minerals necessary. There is the third base coming down for TEFL. And in the meantime, we have the Stargate coming out for Stardust now. So potentially looking to attempt to finish this game quick if he gets a lot of damage done with Oracles. Oracles can be a pain to handle on this map. There's a lot of airspace behind the bases for them to duck in and out of and to hide at. It wouldn't be the most terrible decision at all, and he could end up getting a decent amount of damage done. We'll be watching to see what the reaction to that is. He knows, of course, that TEFL's Overlord is somewhere in this kind of position. It is actually just tucked behind the main base. Possibly coming to chill out whatever is in there. That just looks like a fridge, and oh my goodness, that's where they keep all the money. Alright, so we found the vault on this map, ladies and gentlemen, on Polar Knight. Zealot, in the meantime, managed to cross the purple square of death and live, as he does a quick little bit of scouting here. Third base is going to be complete very shortly indeed, and we are, in fact, going to have Phoenixes popping out, alright, of this here Stargate. So, Phoenix opener, got 3 more gateways on the way now for Stardust to pile on a little bit of pressure off of these two bases. And I suspect he's going to be timing out to hit a little bit of a pressure with that +1 as well. Tefel, in the meantime, he's got Roach Roar most of the way done, and he's got his lair halfway done now too. Zergling speed a little bit late, but doesn't really matter at this point of the game. A small skirmish picks off a Zealot in the middle of the map, and, well, I really don't think these Phoenixes are going to waste their energy trying to pick off individual Zerglings. They're going to be spotting those drones over there at the third base location. With only the 2 Phoenixes, though, needs to be very careful with that. They can't quite take the Queen on just yet. But it looks like Overlords in the meantime are going to get splatted in most parts of the map, and Zealots are actually going to come in and help out. So that's really where the added value will lie. Trying to keep the Zealots, trying to keep the Queen occupied with the Zealots rather, while the Phoenixes attempt to do other stuff. And here we go, picking up the Queen now, trying to pick her up. Will be able to successfully do it. Zealots in the meantime keeping the rest of the forces occupied. Well, there, yep, there's the second lift, allowing the Queen to go down. And still nothing that can shoot these Phoenixes. This is actually a lot of Overlords that could end up going down here for Tefel. Although, amusingly, Stardust is the one currently supply blocked on 60 out of 60. He's now started an additional 2 pylons. That is not a great time to get supply blocked, especially if he wanted to reinforce his army in any way, shape, or form. Tefel does have more Overlords than is necessary, so these Phoenixes are going to be kept annoyed for a little while. In the meantime, an attempted Zergling run by here just isn't going to work at all, unfortunately, for Tefel, trying to do a bit of a counterattack. Another Queen bites the dust here. The Spore Pole, not quite enough to save everything. And he could actually come around the back and try and pick off a couple of drones. I wonder if he's going to do that. At the moment, it's 57 workers to 46 in favor of Tefel. Tefel once again going to try and get a little bit of damage done here at the National Expansion. Won't be able to pick anything off, though. Those 3 sentries just not going to allow it, and now we've got Void Ray production. Switching it up here is a Stardust. More and more Overlords going down now as well. He's just not caring right now, and if he's not careful, he should be able to pick off some of these Queens too. But with the first Hydralisk coming out onto the field, I think finally there should be a little bit of a measure of calm in Tefel. But look at this. Just so much space for these Phoenixes to deal with, make them very, very difficult. Air units on this map in general are just really frustrating when you're harassing with them. And a couple more drones going down now as well, picking apart an additional 5 before moving out. These Phoenixes just trying to not only pay for themselves, but become very, very cost effective as well. In the meantime, the Robotics Bay is going to be finishing at the 11-minute mark, give or take, for Stardust here. And he has got potential to make those Colossi pretty quickly. Indeed, another Overlord biting the dust now for Tefel's side. Stardust just doing a great job of being as active as humanly possible with these air units right now. These Phoenixes just doing a world of damage to Tefel. That's basically unanswered, so that's really good. We have a third base attempting to get taken now. Looks like a Void Ray is going to try and stop that coming. He is going to cancel it anyway as soon as he sees the Hydralisk coming. Hang on a second, says Stardust. I might not actually be able to hold this off just yet. Not with my current army composition. Let's give that a shot. Good force fields preventing the army from coming in. And Tefel saying, well, why did you completely block me out? I must have a pretty decent composition right now. Let's go. Let's dance. Let's see what you've got. And yeah, just more force fields preventing Tefel from coming in right now as Stardust buys more and more time. 2 more gateways are on the way. We've got extended thermal lance coming as well, and a Colossus, and it looks like Stardust is going to try and engage now. A couple of partial force fields and a very, very good time warp there. And it looks like our Zerg player is going to be forced to retreat. Tefel will have to live and fight another day. But once again, Stardust, having the third base cancelled, can end up being a very frustrating experience for him. Now we've got the Phoenixes coming back into the main base here from Tefel. Going to pick apart a couple of drones as he sees fit. The worker count, by the way, is 56 to 51 in favor of Tefel. So not the greatest Zerg economy we've ever seen. An excellent time warp there actually allows about half the army to get picked off. And Stardust is starting to feel a little bit more confident. He's at 123 supply versus 132 from Tefel. But with the Time Warps, with the Colossi, with the Void Ray in the composition now as well, he's feeling pretty good. And the third base is once again being taken, and will once again try to cancel 10 seconds until Extended Thermal Lance is complete. 2 seconds until Glial Reconstitution is complete. There it goes. And will we be able to force a cancel over here at the third? I think the position is Stardust's to lose right now. The Colossi just doing way too much damage, especially with the Extended Thermal Lance. The Phoenix is even coming back to help, and as a direct result of that, I think it's going to be enough. Stardust wins game number 2 and takes the series 2-0 over dignitas.tefel.